I'm Aryeh Schwartz along with Rachel Galligan, and welcome to the Winsidr show where it's all about the W. Tennessee Miss Basketball, two-time SEC Player of the Year, SEC champion, and now the number one pick in the WNBA draft. We're excited for our guest today, Rhyne Howard. If you like our show, please consider joining our Patreon community, patreon.com/Winsidr. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can directly show support for the hard work we do covering the W. And don't forget to see our amazing staff's written content over at winsidr.com. That's winsidr.com. Are you looking for tickets for the upcoming WNBA season? Thanks to our sponsor TickPick, you don't have to worry. The original no-fee ticket site and official ticketing partner of the WNBA champion, Chicago Sky. Use the link www.tickpick.com/WINSIDR. That's tickpick.com/Winsidr for all your upcoming ticket needs for the WNBA, NFL, NBA, or any other event. What a great honor for Rachel and I to welcome to the show the 2022 number one pick in the WNBA draft, Rhyne Howard. Welcome, and thank you so much for your time. I guess the first thing on my mind that I want to ask you is, has it sunk in that you're the number one pick in my opinion, the greatest basketball league in the world? I mean, your name is now amongst the greats like Candace Parker, Simone Augustus, Maya Moore, Asia Wilson, and Diana Taurasi. How do you feel?
Well, no, it hasn't sunk in, but it is great to be a part of that elite group, like you mentioned. And I'm ready for my next journey to start.
How are you doing? I mean, it's been an incredible last month for you. From the SEC tournament and then preparing for the draft. How was the experience? I mean, honestly, this was the first draft we've had back in person. It feels like in a minute. How was that night just for you in general? Kind of walk us through it a little bit.
Just the whole weekend was just great, seeing as it was in person, like you mentioned. But just overall that night, like everything was just great. Like we were all, ready and nervous and just, excited for our dreams to finally be coming true. Um, I started feeling all the feelings that you could feel, nervousness, excitement, all that. But it was great, and it was great to be a part of it, especially with it being in person. Like I feel like that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, just to be back and experience that right there. I do have to be honest. I got a little bit emotional, kind of watching you as you got called up there because you could see just the emotion on your face. Did you expect to go number one?
No, I actually didn't. I know that I was projected, but a lot of things can change with the draft, and nothing's ever set in stone. So it was news to me when Kathy came out there and called my name first.
Amazing. All right. Well, let's take it back to the very beginning. I want to talk about just kind of coming up and playing the game, falling in love with the game. I know we have to talk about your mother, RJ, and being such a major influence on your career and love of basketball as she played herself. But take us through kind of your early years as you first had a basketball in your hand.
Um, I don't know. My first years, like I always was just somewhere playing, somewhere shooting. My mom worked in recreation, so I was always in the gym, whether it was with other girls or whether it was with guys. So I was just somewhere I had a basketball no matter what.
Well, I mean, obviously, because you are so skilled. What were those workouts like? I mean, was your mom in there coaching you up? Did you play a ton on the AAU circuit? I mean, were you always playing? What was that like?
Yeah, I played AAU, and my mom coached me. She actually coached me all the way up until high school, so that was one journey in itself. Uh, but AAU, during high school, just workouts with myself, playing with, guys. Um, it was always the main sport that I came back to, and my mom was always there for me, supporting me, and just doing whatever she needed to do.
And you were Gatorade Player of the Year, Miss Basketball in Tennessee. I have to imagine, actually, I cannot imagine what your recruiting process was like. As anyone listening to this probably knows, you ended up at Kentucky. What was your recruiting process like, and what was it about Kentucky that was appealing to you?
My recruiting process was, I don't know, it was a lot, seeing as, I didn't like to talk as much, and so I would kind of just always look at everybody. Um, but like when I go back and think about it, like it was fun to, build connections with a lot of those coaches from all those different schools. But I did end up choosing Kentucky because it felt like home, and plus it was closer to home.
Well, and it's such a great program, obviously has such a great, rich history. But during your time, you saw coaching change. And honestly, if it's 2022, we're talking nowadays of the transfer portal. It's almost more rare to see somebody just stay the course, and you did that at Kentucky. I have to ask, what was it about the program or just that was instilled in you to kind of stay that course and ride that experience out?
Um, I just don't like to, quit or like give up, especially with, what we had established as a program, as players. So I feel like, it would have been kind of tough to just, throw that away and throw all that hard work that me and my teammates had all put into the program. So like I said, I'm a competitor, and I don't like to quit on anything. So I just, had to stay there and, finish the process.
And finish the process you did. I got to say, I was there. I was in Nashville. I was damn near in tears that game. That was an absolutely incredible moment, that second half. And just, I have chills talking about it right now. Winning that SEC tournament championship when honestly, a month before, maybe, a month and a half before, everybody was kind of counting you guys out. And then you go on and go on this massive, this streak, and then you go on and win that championship. Did that kind of, first off, what was that like for you? And second off, did that kind of, in some ways, kind of a stamp of accomplishment for your career at Kentucky?
Um, it was great, and it was just fine, like, all the pressure and everything that we had been through as a team this year was like lifted. um and it was a stamp of improvement. It was my first championship, college or high school, really. And so like I felt good, and I loved my teammates for it because they were like, we're gonna send you out right. I was like, I've never been here, I've never made it this far in the SC tournament, and they're like, well, we're gonna win it all for you. And so that's what they did, and it just shows how much like we can battle through everything and just stay together and stay the course.
Throughout this whole season, heading into the draft, you were the talk of the WNBA world. Lots of people like me who don't necessarily cover college basketball tuned into your games to watch you because you were the name to see. And I have to imagine that throughout this season, GMs, coaches, people connected to different teams were reaching out to you and discussing things with you, having conversations. And I'm curious for you, like, what were those conversations like, and what feedback did you get about yourself and your game?
Um, they all told me like they're like, yeah, you're really talented, and we do think that you'll excel in this league. But they're just, giving me everything that I should work on, which is like defense, or constantly going hard in every minute of the game or in practice. But it was pretty much the same. Like every coach or GM, like it was pretty much the same thing that I had to work on. So I don't know
I'm
if it's
curious.
a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, no one's perfect, right? But I'm curious for you, like hearing what the GMs and coaches said to you, but I feel like nobody knows your game better than you. What do you think? Like, what is your main focus of improvement for this training camp and heading into your first WNBA season? Like, what do you need to work on to have great success in this league?
Um, I mean, I would agree. I definitely think that defense will play a huge part on, playing time or just having an impact in the game. Because, if I can stop great players, then, they'll have no choice but to leave me on the floor. So I do agree. with that. Like I'm very aware, but I'm always trying to get better at what I am good at as well. So like just toning in on those skills.
I like that. Don't just I used to be a preschool teacher and we would always talk with the parents. This is ridiculous and random, but we'd always talk about with the parents, like if your child is really good at math or reading, yes, you want to build up the other skills, but you don't want to forget about where their passion clearly is and where their skill set clearly is, extra strengths and whatnot. Coming into this Atlanta Dream team, it's a team that's reshaped itself of recent, new ownership, new coach, new front office. What excites you about this team? And if I can ask, has there been a player from the Atlanta Dream who's reached out or have you spoken to since the news broke, since draft day?
I'm really looking to be a part of, getting Atlanta back on top and just making them a threat in the league. And a couple of players did reach out. So Erica Wheeler reached out, and Tiffany Hayes, of course. But we already have history. So I've picked her brain a little bit before the draft and like for a couple of years now. So those two reached out and we've connected, and I'm ready to get to learn some more from them too, especially.
I'm looking in Atlanta and I'm really intrigued. I'm really excited for the future of the franchise. Obviously, complete rebuild kind of has to be gutted from the bottom and built back up. But this free agency and this draft in particular is so vital moving forward. Getting those right pieces that are just foundational, solid pieces that can continue to be built around. Right before the draft happened, obviously we all talked about Washington having the pick for the longest time, and right before there was a trade. Atlanta moved up in the draft and they were strategic with their moves because they had their eye set on one specific person, and that was you. How does that make you feel?
Um, it gives you a sort of confidence that you might not be able to get from like anywhere else. So if it's a person or a team is trading specifically for you, that's like, wow, like I gotta go and show them like they didn't choose wrong, you know.
Hey, and I fully expect you to. The real question I
Me
gotta
too.
ask for our the real question I gotta ask for our WNBA fans is like educate our listeners. What makes your game so special? Like when you like just in your words, describe your game to our listeners.
Um, I'm a big guard, so that's already rare in the league, and I'm very versatile, so I could play and guard multiple positions. Um, 1 through 4, really. So I feel like not a lot of people have that, and especially it's not that only I can just play those. Um, I could do a pretty good job at them as well. So I feel like that's really the main factor.
I'm gonna have a goal of at some point throughout, you're gonna have a long WNBA career, hopefully. I'm going to get you to brag about yourself. That's my goal because you seem so nice and humble, and I love it. But I'm gonna get you to brag about yourself eventually. I won't push you too hard. It's our first time meeting. But give me a personal goal that you kind of set for yourself for this upcoming season. I know it's your rookie year, but talk to me. Did you set any benchmarks?
Yeah, I want to be rookie of the year, um, and I want to lead Atlanta to a championship, or even further than we have before. Just overall having a winning season, um, in general.
And you talked about you already have some relationships with some of the players on Atlanta, but we can't have this show without talking about Naz Hillman, who was drafted alongside you. And I guess you guys have been friends or have a bit of a history for a while. What's your relationship like with Naz, and what's it like to kind of be going into this together?
Yeah, that's basically my sister. We get along. Our moms get
Really?
along. Uh, so yeah, so just having like being reunited with her is just great because I love her as a player and I love her as a person. And she's gonna work hard. She's gonna do all those little things. Like you hear people bragging about her all the time. Like I can personally say that they are 100% right, and that all of that is that what gets said is 100% true about Nas. And so just having her on the same team as me, like I know she's gonna force me to work hard, and I'm gonna force her to work hard as well. So, us coming in together. Like, we already know how each other plays. We know what each other likes. And it's just, we know how to lead in our own ways. So we can both have a huge impact on this team.
I'm really excited to see y'all play together. Something that I always love to ask players coming into the league or players who have been in the league who are getting ready for another season. Is there a specific player you're excited to go up against this coming year? It could be somebody you have some unfinished business from college, somebody you didn't get to play in college that you always kind of wanted to, or just a WNBA player that you're like, wow, I really want to go up against them.
I mean, anybody can get it. So I'm just excited to be playing.
There we go.
I'm just ready to, be out there. It's only 144 of them, so I'm glad I could be a part of that. So,
I mean, aren't you excited to go like toe to toe with Candace Parker?
yeah, I think that'll be interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so logistically, I've always been curious. Like, obviously you were just in New York. You might still be in New York. I'm not sure where you are. Are you in Tennessee? Are you still in Kentucky? Are you like just living on a plane right now? And what does this period of time right now look like logistically for you before you head to camp?
Basically, I've just been living on a plane, especially for the past 2 weeks. But I am in Tennessee right now, but I do have to go to Atlanta today, actually.
Wow.
And get started there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we hope that you travel safe. We got a little bit more and then we'll let you hit the road. But I have one final question before we enter into RA's favorite point. It's called rapid fire. It's never actually rapid, but whatever. We'll get to that here in a minute. Last question I have for you, looking at your life, reflecting on your life, everything that you've been able to accomplish, what advice do you have for the young girl growing up in Tennessee who wants to be drafted in the WNBA?
Always work hard and believe in yourself, and stay around the people who want to see you succeed and are gonna accept nothing less of that. So if somebody tells you you can't do anything, or you should try something else, don't listen to them, because they're not you and they can't work hard for you. So you can control what you can control, and never doubt yourself.
I love that. So, as Rachel kind of hinted, gave away, buried the lead, whatever the phrase is, we got rapid fire for you. They're fun questions. They'll let the fans get to know you a little bit more. And for me to put you on the hot seat just a little bit. Now, we say rapid fire. Take all the time you need to answer. There's no shot clock on this. But there's some tough ones, so think it out and give us an answer. We'll start off, and we're going to be going back and forth between Rachel and I. Who's your WNBA GOAT?
Maya Moore.
Ooh, yes. It's about time we bring her back up. Okay. Biggest career moment?
SC championship.
Yes.
Toughest player you ever had to play?
I'm going to say... Sorry. My mom's sitting here. She pointed at herself.
It's funny because I was going to say you can totally pick your mom or, AAU, pickup basketball, whatever. All right, we're going with your mom. I like that answer.
Yeah. All
right. What's your pregame meal?
I don't know. I don't really.
Okay, do you have a pregame?
I don't really eat a whole bunch.
Do you have a pregame routine? Do you need a nap?
Yes, I do take a nap, and I do Normatec boots.
Okay.
Do you have a pregame song or music?
I play the music while I go to sleep, so I just put on Rod Wave, or I put on some R&B music.
Okay. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Bora Bora.
Ooh, I've never heard anybody say that in rapid fire, so props to you. And now, I'm just going to ask it. Who's the biggest trash talker you've ever played against?
Is it your mom?
Yeah.
Okay, it'd probably actually be my brother.
Okay.
That's amazing. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And we wish you all the success, all the luck in your future WNBA career. I guess it's no longer a future, it is now, it's real. Congrats, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.